So do you trust anything from Gearbox anymore?
I do. I have a tendency to give them the benefit of the doubt.
And despite every game they've come out with in the past 10 years.
Yeah, I like their sense of humor.
What? That they release a bad game
Well, you know,
and say, "Whoops, gotcha."
it's only bad if you don't like it.
Well, I don't think anyone's liked Aliens, Dermot.
All right, but what about Borderlands?
Well, which Borderlands are we talking?
Well, probably Borderlands 2.
Well, the only Borderlands I played recently was made by Telltale.
Well, fair enough. That's a good old game.
That's a heck of a game, as Matt Whitaker would say.
That's what he would say.
But 2K's taking stuff to the next level because they're coming out with Battleborn, which is a, I guess, irrefutable AAA game. It's 1 to 5 players online, 2-player split screen, coming out for all current gen consoles and PC. And this is quite the departure for the company. It's actually based on a, I believe, Brothers in Arms game, Furious 4, which is no relation to the fantastic Ronda Rousey car chase movies. And that game was canceled pretty unceremoniously, and then a lot of the assets, I believe, were ported over. Is that right, Dermot?
That is right. 100%.
So, do you see any sort of? I assume there's no World War II gameplay in this.
No, not that I've seen so far, but you never know what they're going to throw in there.
I don't think they're gonna throw it in there. But what can we expect right now? I know there's robots, and I think there's dragons of some sort, even maybe a Khaleesi or two.
Battleborn is a hero-based shooter, and that means that the characters you play as all have their own predetermined abilities and weapons and loadouts, and they all come from different planets, different backgrounds. You've got like Caldarius, who looks like a Gundam. He's this big mech.
Is his first name Lando?
Oh man, I wish it was. I think they might run into some problems. But fanfiction writes itself.
It sure does, especially when Lando's involved.
Man, oh, Lando.
But what if any character in this game would get fanfiction written for him? Who do you think it would be?
Man, if I was gonna write some fanfiction, it'd probably be about Miko. He is just a big walking fungus.
Is that your kind of bag, Dermot?
It is.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Athlete's Foot?
Not Michael Jordan, or no, I'm sorry, John Madden, is it? Tough acting, boom. So this game's coming out in February. Does that worry you at all? I mean, that's kind of a dumping ground.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think games like Dying Light that came out earlier this year did really well at sales because no one else had anything to play. So,
oh, wow, high praise for Dying Light. I'm sure they appreciate that.
I'm just saying, if that game came out in November or even October, no one would have bought it.
Somewhere Techland's entire ears are burning right now.
Yeah, well, we can make up later.
But this game is, what would you even call it? I mean, it's officially, what, a hero shooter, I think, classified?
Yeah, it's classified like that because...
Is it a MOBA?
It has MOBA properties in that you kind of augment your fighter or your hero during each match or mission that you play. So you go from level 1 to 10 every time you go into a level, and then you reset at the end. So when you level up, you pull up this helix screen, and you can choose from 1 or 2 different abilities or enhancements and decide, like, maybe I want to run a little faster, or maybe I want my shotgun to be more narrow and do more damage. So you can decide what you want to change about your hero depending on who you're playing against, what your teammates are playing like, and ultimately how you want to play that level.
So it's a Deus Ex game, you're saying?
It's exactly that.
Is it a game? I mean, since it is I guess we can call it what, MOBA-esque. Is that fair? I don't know.
Fair.
Okay.
MOBA-esque shooter with RPG elements. It's not really easily defined.
It is not. It's kind of a one-of-a-kind game. Is it one you think you'll see streamed? I mean, League of Legends, of course, I think to this day is the biggest stream game on Twitch. Is Battleborn going to follow?
Yeah, I think Gearbox is really hoping that it does.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's they made a big deal about how many permutations of heroes and teams there are in the game, and I think they're hoping that people really latch on to the unique personalities and abilities that these different people have.
So do you play as mainly one character throughout your adventure?
So while you're playing the story campaign, which is its own full-fledged adventure, much like it is in Borderlands.
Are we talking Borderlands amount of time? Are we talking, 30, 40 hours? Are we talking maybe 8 to 10 shooter style?
I'd say it's probably more like maybe 10 to 15.
Okay.
Gearbox was kind of shifty about answering that question when I was talking to them, but
that's kind of uncharacteristic for them.
Yeah. You do get to choose who you're going to play with, and you can switch out as you go, and that is actually how you're going to unlock more characters to use in the multiplayer component by completing certain story missions. Like someone might be a villain in one mission, and then you'll unlock him to join your crew in the next.
Now, up to 5 players can play, is that correct?
5 players per team, so you can have 10 players playing at once, which is pretty rad.
Is that split screen, or are we talking all online?
It would be all online. You can do split screen cooperative during the single player, and you can also play online for single player. But for multiplayer, it's going to be all online, using their own units.
So what about the story of this game? Is it anything notable?
So they haven't said too much about the story. It's definitely going to have that trademark Gearbox unpredictability and humor and charm, all of that. They've cooked up this really interesting villain. He's really sadistic, and he's kind of a goofball as well. And they're really fleshing out the backstory of all these characters. Randy Varnell, the creative director of the game, has told me he's written just hundreds of pages of backstory for all of these characters. He's really invested, as is the entirety of Gearbox. They really love this project.
So maybe there will be a lot of fan fiction coming out.
Well, at least Randy Varnell will be writing it.
So is there a lot of legs for this game? I mean, how long do you think it's going to take to max out your... Is there a level cap or anything like that?
Right, so as you go and complete missions and play multiplayer matches, you can level up your character rank and also your player profile. Unlock more skins and different abilities that you can choose from in your Helix tree. The legs of the game really, though, are just the amount of options you have in customizing your character. Battleborn really, really wants players to try different heroes, try different styles of play, and ultimately build the same heroes, even different styles each time.
So talk a little bit more about the customization features.
Right, so for example, I played Caldarius a lot, who is the Gundam style mech. And he has a melee attack for close combat, and he's got sort of an automatic rifle. And in one of the matches, the rifle was doing a lot of business for me, so I decided to lean more towards that and really enhance that and really make that my killer weapon. Now, in another one, I was getting absolutely bombarded because my teammates had left me and the teamwork was not really there. What the heroes they had chosen were not complementing Caldarius for me, so I decided to augment him more towards maneuverability, like being able to jump higher and do a double jump in the air, things like that. So depending on the situations you find yourself in, you can change how your character plays to better suit your style.
So how do you feel the visuals are coming along?
It looks gorgeous. It's really colorful. The different characters themselves and just the inspirations behind them. You've got witches, you've got Miko, the giant fungus, you've got Wrath, it looks like a samurai vampire. There's just all these different artistic styles coming into one, and it just looks great.
You just keep going back to that fungus, don't you?
I love the fungus, man.
No Tenactin in your house, Dermot.
Yeah, that's a box quote. Love me some fungus.
I'd buy that game. So a lot of people have made comparisons with the animation style to Pixar. Do you see that?
I do. Obviously, Gearbox is not Pixar, and they're definitely going to not be as kid-friendly as Pixar, especially the nature of the gun violence and all of that jazz. But I do see.
I don't know. Inside Out was pretty bloody. I watched the Korean cut, but.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I guess it does take place inside somebody, so you could say that. Yeah. All right.
This is a family show, Dermot. But yeah, no, I see a lot of kind of Brave elements. Did you ever see? No one saw Brave, did they?
Yeah, well,
Shoot.
I definitely saw Brave. Anything Celtic that comes out of Pixar, I'm going to see it.
So is that why you saw Ratatouille? Are rats Celtic?
Rats killed a lot of Celtic people.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if they're really regarded
counts.
well in Celtic culture.
Oh.
But that's
If you want to play the game in the multiplayer mode, but you don't have any friends, which I think is common for many of us here at Hardcore Gamer, how can you get around that? Are there AI you can play with?
in multiplayer.
Right.
I am actually not sure. The only way I was able to play multiplayer while experiencing Battleborn recently was with a team of 4 other players against another team of 5 players.
Oh,
so I'm not
you got a lot
sure.
of friends.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Obviously, they don't have to be all your friends. You can play with randoms online, just like in most other multiplayer shooters.
Okay.
And there's also voice chat, so this is no Splatoon.
Well, I don't think any multiplayer game that was released after 2005 is a Splatoon, Dermot, to be fair. I think it's in its own league.
Game of the year.
So that's actually a good point you bring up. How would you compare it to Splatoon? Splatoon's kind of like the cartoony multiplayer game on the block. Do you see any comparisons?
You could definitely draw some comparisons. Battleborn is absolutely its own beast, though. The only comparison I can see between Splatoon and Battleborn is the artistic style, but even then, Splatoon is very much stylized one particular way, where you have squids, octopuses, shrimp, all these sea creatures, whereas Battleborn kind of just tosses in every kind of cool hero you could ever think of,
And fungus.
including fungus, and just lets them go at it, you know? So, and you're also not shooting ink. You're definitely shooting to kill.
Well, I think ink could kill you if it was shot in the right.
I mean, it could.
Yeah.
It could.
That's why that game's rated teen, right?
Yep.
So what do you think about the pricing structure of the game? It's $59.99. It's going to be free to play. I don't think have they detailed any sort of DLC or anything like that?
Right, so I talked to Randy Varnell about that, and he was saying they definitely have ideas for DLC they could implement down the line. They want to see how the public reacts to what they have out first. Whether they're demanding more stages, more modes, maybe more heroes. I would definitely lean more towards heroes because that seems to be the focus of the game in and of itself.
Do you think that it would be better for this game to come out to be free to play and then have some sort of a subscription model, or be based on World of Tanks kind of a formula like you mentioned?
I think if they really emphasize the fact that you are getting a full single-player experience, then people won't feel too bad about, plopping down $60 to play this really experimental and kind of groundbreaking shooter.
So is this a game you could recommend to people who have no interest in playing multiplayer? They just want a good story?
I can't speak too much about the story, mainly because I haven't seen enough of it. Though the story is a full component and has not been neglected at all, according to what Gearbox has told me, it's definitely very much designed to be replayed. Using new characters, using new teammates, etc. So it's not necessarily going to be lauded for its narrative excellence, I'd say. It's not Tales from the Borderlands, but you might still enjoy it.
So can you talk about the different multiplayer modes? I believe there's 3, at least so far, Capture, Meltdown, and Incursion.
Right, so most recently I played extensively Meltdown and Capture. So Capture basically sets 2 teams against each other in a deathmatch where they're both vying for different plots of territory strewn throughout the map. The people that control the territory the longest and the most points of territory will win the match as the time runs out, but the territory definitely feels like a secondary objective compared to, killing people and getting in there and getting dirty. Now, Meltdown, on the other hand, is a little bit the same, but very much its own beast, where you have minions that you're guiding to their death in an incinerator.
So it is like Splatoon.
You could say so. So for every minion that you get in the incinerator, you have a point put on your score for the team. Now, the team that has the most points at the end of the match is the winner. So you want to stop the other team from getting their minions into their incinerator. And what that comes down to is attacking the minions, killing them, and ultimately killing the other teammates. So that involves a lot of shooting, a lot of augmentations, and also setting up turrets and other defensive devices, a bit of tower defense in the environment to help, you know, fill out your squadron while you're going around the map.
Are there going to be more than 3 multiplayer modes at launch, or is that just what they've announced so far?
It seems to be all they've announced so far.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to come with any more before release in February, but who knows?
Does that worry you at all? I mean, games like Call of Duty, I think, have a good 15 modes.
Right, but I would say that though they have that many modes, it's definitely for maybe variety's sake only. People tend to flock to a certain few, and if we want to keep drawing the comparison to Splatoon, Splatoon only has a couple modes, and they're fantastic because they're well thought out and they're completely replayable. So if Battleborn can nail that, then it won't have any problem.
Well, it sounds great so far. It comes out on February 9th for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Windows PC from 2K. Dermot, thanks so much. You can go check out his preview right now on hardcoregamer.com.
Thanks, Steve.